Hi, Sandy.
Hi, it's Dave.
Hi, it's Kirk.
Welcome to the A.D.K rock and metal channel. Today we're doing more of our broken down and pulled apart series. That's where we take a song, we go away, we watch it, we listen to it, and we make our notes. We break it into 1 minute sections for you at home, play those 1 minute sections, and then give you our feedback and commentary, which takes you for our emotional journey and, of course, our detailed dissection of the song. We're as detailed as we can get without sounding like complete twats. Now, today's band, we are going to be talking about Nightwish. It's a band we have covered a few times on this Broken Down and Pulled Apart, and why shouldn't we? They've got a massive catalogue, and we love covering them. And you apparently like us covering them, so it's always nice to do that, something that people actually want to watch. Today we're doing the song The Day Of, which came out in August and comes off of the Perfume of the Timeless album from 2024. It was the second single from that particular album. And for context, we have just done Nightwish, End of All Hope, and we've coming from that to this. So that's could help understand where maybe some of our commentary has come from when we talk about Nightwish music, etc., and this song. So we're going to play you the first minute. This is minute 0 to minute 1 of The Day Of for you at home.
A new virus has now been discovered. You may be infected by mundane groceries.
In an unprecedented turn of events, astronomers have recalculated the flight
Several
path
people
of
have been evacuated from the site, but approximately
Take shelter, skies are humming, Armageddon second coming, war of the worlds, the end of history. Take shelter, floods are rising, the wrath of thunder is drumming, end of days for mankind and for your kin. Fill those empty moments, fear more, in this grave new world of 84, fast death, last breath, AI to kill us all. Horse waste, covering London, Martians among us, Y2K, horde all aboard, the end is near.
Okay, I'll kick this one off if that's okay. It's a dramatic video. I mean, they've obviously put a huge amount of effort and thought into what they wanted to do with this video when they started it. And you got to remember, just before this, they did this whole thing around with COVID, etc., where they did this whole virtual reality performance, and it was you had to buy tickets online for it to watch it. You couldn't just go in and stream it. You had to buy it was like a concert. But they'd done it in a they'd shot it all in green screen, and they'd created this whole world basically, which they were performing in. I have now seen some of the clips from it, and it looks phenomenal. But this is a band at this point that really understands media and understands what the context of a music video needs to be about telling the story. And as I said at the beginning, we've just done End of All Hope, where we mentioned in that particular video about the lack of story element and how that video didn't really do anything as far as a bit of live performance and a bit of a story. Didn't really. This is all about the story. This is a pure storytelling video. It almost felt musically like it was the vibe of, like War of the Worlds, and how that sort of starts, and it's this big storytelling element. That's where it went with me. It's this first minute, I'm like, okay, it's a pop song. Where's the rock? Where's the metal? Where's the elements of Nightwish that I knew of old? Even on previous albums like Nature, and the one before that, I've forgotten the name of it, but the one before that anyway. But the last two Floor albums before this one, I was kind of going, I don't know where this is going. Is this more like sounding like Floor solo project at this point? I couldn't quite get it. And we did Noise, me and Andy, the other week. And that was from the album before this. And I was like, this is worlds apart from Noise. This is a complete departure from anything that I knew of as Nightwish. And I am going to say, it is said, because I had to look at this afterwards, I'm going to give you the context now. They have said that this is intentionally gone in a completely different direction than anything they'd ever done before for this particular song and video. They wanted to go off and do something that didn't sound like a normal Nightwish track. So they intentionally have gone down that for this particular song. But very confused at the beginning, liked the video, but wasn't sure what the hell the video was about at the time. Couldn't quite understand with their flaky, peely faces. I thought it looked dramatic and it looked amazing and flashing fear signs. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what's happening here. Andy, thoughts?
Bit of confusion. I think we need to clear up at the beginning. I've recently re-signed up to Spotify, and I thought, well, rather than just download all the same albums I've got upstairs. I've listened to hundreds of times. Let's get some new stuff. You know, I don't really listen to many new albums, so I went down the Metal Hammer top 50 and Nightwish's. Is it Yesterwind? Is that how you say it?
Yeah,
I think it probably is Yesterwind, isn't it? Just
that's the new one. Yeah.
Yeah. So I played that, and I quite enjoyed it. And then I looked at our sort of folder of videos we're going to cover today, and there's one called The Day Of. I thought, I recognise that title. That's from the album I just listened to. But you've just said it's from a different album. Have they re-recorded it for the latest album? Or is there... Anyway, while you're checking that...
Yeah.
I'll carry mine as is.
Carry on, yeah.
This is a world away from, as you said, Dave, the track Noise that we covered recently, and certainly from End of All Hope. I know we're talking 20 years difference in the band's career, but this first minute, it's got good visuals, and it certainly sets the scene for the song. You're not quite sure where it's going. I've noted down.
Right, Andy, you're right. It's called Yesterwind. I don't know why I've got Perfume of the Timeless listed down. So
that's the track of the album as well.
Yeah, it's Yesterwind, and Perfume of the Timeless was the other one of the other songs.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm not with it this morning. It's too early for me.
The 10th studio album, Yesterwind, exactly.
Yeah, thanks for clarifying that.
Don't worry, there'll be plenty of comments that won't have made it this far into the video that will be calling me a dickhead at this point. So don't worry.
Yeah.
Oh, they're right. You should do your research.
I did. I was rushing. The radio station was breaking at the same time. I was trying to fix it.
Yeah. I was saying, it sort of sets the scene for the song. There's some nice vocals from Floor Jansen. I've noted down sort of is the video going in like an end of the world sort of Martian invasion type thing, which relates to your comments about War of the Worlds. But unlike Tarja, I mean, I'm going to root for her again. There's not the power and the emotion at this stage of the song, for vocally, but it is just setting the scene and sort of starting things off. So we're not really into the song as yet, so we can't be too critical.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Kirk?
Yeah, I was surprised by the first minute of this song. So they're using a synthesizer on that instrument. You have a button called the arpeggiator, and you can build sequences on that, and that's what's carrying this song with a semi-distorted bass guitar. So you can hear that in the first verse. Of course, Floor Jansen's vocals are the primary focus. It feels like she's trying to cram too many words into her phrasings as well. So I was impressed by the video and the budget for the video, certainly. But I've been looking at reviews of this album. It's the worst rated album in the discography. Now, we do need to separate critics and their fan base, who, their fan base would never criticize anything they've ever put out, would they, it seems. But they seem to, if you use as a reference point Encyclopedia Metallum, so this will have reviews for every album, and not surprisingly, the early stuff, the debut album 1997, 80%, rate it. When we get to album number 10, that's down to 56%, and already 1 minute into this song, I'm beginning to see why.
So I think what's interesting is they've said on this album they had no intention of ever touring off this.
Mm.
And I can see probably why, which is probably if you go and write an album with no intention of touring it, then you can do whatever the hell you like, because you can go, well, we can write landscape stories and we can do all this because we don't actually have to perform this. We can just go out and we don't have to put many guitars. We can do layers of keyboard parts and synths, and we can put orchestral parts and choirs in, because we don't have to replicate that live, because we're not planning to tour any of this for the next 3-4 years. By which point, if we'll just focus on the hits, because we know that Floor, I think this is, Floor doesn't, for me, she's fine in what she's doing on this one, but it doesn't showcase her ability at all at this song, as far as what we know that she can do on previous albums. She's a phenomenal vocalist, but you wouldn't get it from this particular song. It's a fairly mediocre vocal delivery, as far as like it does what it needs to. But we know that she can do Tarja era stuff. I'm not sure if Tarja can do Floor era stuff. We've never heard her try. It would be interesting to see. Let's play the next minute. Let's kick into this. This is minute 1 to minute 2 for you at home.
Same old story, cow before a caliphate glory. The big read of
Okay, so second minute of the song, and I got to the end of this minute asking, are there any guitars in this song? That was my next kind of thing. I'm like, guitars actually going to come in, or is it all just kind of keyboard bits? It's actually a really good song. Once I started to accept it, I'm like, do you know what? It's not going to sound like a traditional Nightwish song. So let me just listen to it. And I actually got to this point where I'm going to start the song over again because I realized I was in a negative headspace. I was like, hang on, let me go back, restart the song, and just listen to it as a song on its own without expectations of chuggy guitars, symphonic elements. I'll just listen to it. So it's actually really catchy, really, really nice track. It's just massively unexpected for what you're expecting a Nightwish song to sound like. It almost sounds like a song that's been written for a musical, for a stage show. It doesn't feel like a song that's been written for a symphonic metal band. It feels like it's been written completely out of context. And that's fine because I was like, okay, now that I'm not I've tried to put all my expectations to one side and just went, I'm just going to vibe with the track. I was starting to really enjoy it at this point. Andy.
Yeah, I think like you at this stage, I was beginning to realize this is, 2024 Nightwish. It's not going to sound like End of All Hope and Bless This Child and, Slaying the Dreamer from the Taj eras. It's almost, it's a progression of the band, and you can't criticize them for that. But yeah, I was getting to this stage and thinking we're not going to expect the symphonic the symphonic keyboards or the guitars. So let's enjoy it for what it is, and it's a very creative and very well thought out sort of piece of music. You mentioned the different layers and different elements that they could bring in because it's not going to be performed live. You mentioned the word choir. I mean, to me, it doesn't sound like a choir. It sounds like they've got a bunch of kids in. It sounds like a school choir doing the vocal parts in minutes 1 to 2. There's a couple of lines that Floor delivers that all reminded me of sections of, and again, the vocals of Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody. Just a little sort of couple of seconds. That's where my mind went with what I was hearing from Floor Jansen. And at this stage, if you look at the visuals, this is where the guy starts his endless horizontal fall through
through the world,
environment he's living. And Dave, you can probably answer this question. It does have a very AI feel to this, doesn't it? There's obviously sort of shots of actors. You mentioned the guys with the sort of crumbling clay skin, and other shots as well. But a lot of it is.
It's got to have been done, yeah. It's got to be CGI'd, AI, whatever you want to do.
Yeah. Is there a difference between the two? Because CGI is accepted and part of Hollywood filmmaking for decades, but AI seems to be criticised when it's being natively. What's the main difference, and why is it so?
So CGI will have an artist behind it, so someone will sit there and create it, and there'll also be a base plate usually used. So, for instance, a lot of CGI will have a reference point. So they may have had the actors in the room, and then the CGI will layer on like the peely. So they might have got them to film themselves doing some falling, then they will superimpose it in the background.
Yeah.
AI, they would have just typed in a prompt and gone this and created it, and they wouldn't have used any of the band in the shots, and they would have just created it from hit my microphone there. They've just used it without any of the band being involved in anything. So CGI CGI doesn't destroy people's livelihoods of artists. AI does. There you go.
There's human creativity in CGI, whereas AI is just create that computer.
Yeah, it's basically let the computer use algorithms to create something.
Gotcha. Okay.
Kirk?
Yeah, I didn't expect a child choir to take over at the 1 minute mark, so that was the best part of the song for me. Really surprising to go from the intro where you've got this edgy synth-based, growling bass verse, and then to have that, and then it doesn't even serve as a bridge to the chorus either, from what I remember. So at first I was confused by it, but instinctively enjoyed it, and I appreciate that they've put that in there because this was already on track to become a formulaic song, and then to throw something like that in there, it completely second guesses you. So I'll compliment them certainly for their creativity and their willingness to put that in. It makes sense now, Dave, like you said. They're not going to be touring for the next 3 years. They're taking a break, aren't they? So they can be as extravagant and as ambitious as they want and realize everything in the studio and not be under pressure to play this live. And then when they do come back after 3 years, yeah, it probably will be a greatest hit set, won't it? So yeah, they've taken full advantage of the circumstances, which makes sense.
Okay, well let's do minutes 2 to minute 3 for you at home. Okay, so at this point we get this is where the guitars for me started to really come into the songs. We get this kind of doubling up with the keyboards and the guitars doubling each other, which I thought sounded great. And it builds. It's coming into what I would almost know as the modern era Nightwish sound. So it's not like the early, like late 90s, early 2000s Nightwish, but this is the era of the last couple of albums. This is what I expected it to sound a bit more like. So we're getting this kind of vibe there. It's a really interesting video, but it didn't, when I read what the video is about, the video doesn't do what it does. Again, this is a problem where once you know in hindsight what the video is about, you can kind of go, oh, I can see the elements, but without actually understanding the video, you completely go in a completely different direction. I thought it was about something completely different than what it actually is. But and that's with me watching it a couple of times through to try and understand the video elements, to try and really get my head around it. Because I don't know about you guys, but I thought it was about how adults are destroying the world from the children. So the children have got to uprise against their parents because we seem to be destroying the planet. And that's, people are decaying at the top, and the kids are all like, hell for you, and we have to throw the adults off the planet. I thought it was about the environment, is what I thought it was. That's what I pulled it, and it ain't. So I was like, okay, that didn't help me then.
Tell us at the end what you found out.
I will give you the end what he says it's about.
Yeah, so I haven't looked into it, and again, I was not trying to sort of piece together what the story is and what the message is. It was just, you know, a great series of visuals. I mean, it was a very strange series of visuals, and it doesn't really make a lot of sense. I mean, in this section, I liked sort of all the faces appearing in the ground, looking distressed and anguished. But musically in this section, I really liked it. Sort of 2 minutes 40 is where, as you say, the classic symphonic Nightwish starts. I've called it the orchestral section, which is a real sort of departure from what we've heard from from the opening section of the song. So it's sort of building, even though we're sort of at least halfway through. So not really taking too much about what the story is, but enjoying the visuals and the music at this point.
Kirk?
The imagery is more captivating than the musical arrangements by this stage. I mean, this part's just a repeat of the first minute, isn't it? But yeah, it does come to life with the neoclassical guitar and strings, keyboard strings playing in harmony. And they enjoy it so much that they extend it by lowering it by an octave, don't they? And it goes even further. And you're right, this is where they are showing a good use of classical dynamics and building to a climax. But I must say, I've almost lost interest already by this stage in the song, and I'm just focusing on the video.
And I think we had something similar when I think it was we did do a review of Perfume of the Timeless, and again it was something. Oh no, it was another song off of this album where it was like a ballad, and again we were just like watching it going, I'm not really sure what this is about, and we got criticised because we hadn't let it just wash over us. But obviously, when we're only watching it a couple of times, we're trying to get that initial impression. And I think this is where we're again with this one. It's that first initial impression of what it's trying to take you on. I've listened to this song a few times now, so I kind of get, once you listen to it 4 or 5, 6 times, etc., you can appreciate more because you've got it into the muscle memory. But we're going to play the last minute and 46 minute and 46 seconds for you at home, and then give you your final thoughts on it. So I must have missed the child choir parts early on because I made notes about the child choir in this minute. So I must have missed it for some reason. I was probably making notes about the music video at this point. But yeah, I like the use of the child choir. I think it's a good, and that's again where I was starting to think of it's the children must uprise against the parents, and it's the adults that are destroying the world, and the kids are the future. I believe the children are our future. That kind of teach them well and let them lead the way. That's where I'm thinking here. There's lots of power. There's lots of elevation in that last part of the songs. This is a song that starts off quite mild and it builds. It constantly builds right to the end. It's got a big crescendo to the end. And I really like the end of the track. I like what it's trying to do. I think the video just falls a little short of the mark as far as what they were trying to achieve as far as the storytelling. But I'll do that once you guys have had your feedback on it. I'll tell you what they wrote in the synopsis. But Andy, final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, the school choir element sort of is, I've written down as even more so. So whether it's sort of projected more in the music or it's sort of, sort of louder in the mix, I don't know. But they use that again, and that follows sort of some spoken word vocals from Floor Jansen. So they really do mix up the vocal deliveries throughout this song. Visually, there's some great shots. There's some raised fists. Again, are people uprising against the adults, Dave? I didn't really think about that message, but just enjoyed that image. And then our main man and several other people have travelled so far in this journey that uncontrolled journey that they've covered throughout the whole video. They end up in space. So what it all means, I don't know, and you're going to tell us, I'm sure, in a moment. But this song reminded me of, I don't know when it came out in the Nightwish sort of career, but we covered like a 20-minute almost sort of music.
2 albums back, yeah.
Yeah, it was a 20-minute musical extravaganza, wasn't it? All
Greatest
sorts
song
of elements.
on earth.
Yeah, where that sort of starts gentle and builds throughout into this fantastic piece of music with so many different elements and so much creativity. That reminded me of like a condensed version of that. And it's kind of what we're expecting from the modern Nightwish, which, as I said earlier, is a million miles away from sort of the Tarja albums from the beginning. You can see how they've built and the stepping stones they've covered, but that's progress from a very creative band, and they're doing what they want to do. So that's really good.
Kirk?
Yeah, it's an impressive climax, the song, with Floor Jansen finally belting at the top of her lungs, but not really enough to retain my attention other than the video. again, I just think with this band, too many of the songs I've heard are formulaic. But I get the impression listening to an album, they're not going to be like that. So I almost feel like I'm not qualified to give an opinion because I've only heard singles. And often you'll find with a band that's not representative of the overall sound. You know, and as a storytelling band, you clearly, am I right thinking you do need to listen to an album from track 1 through to track 12 to appreciate what they're trying to
Certain
achieve?
elements.
So, yeah, so
they tend to write a concept behind each album. There is a theme behind. They do themes for each of their albums, so it does help.
So I probably need to listen to Yes to Win to really give a fair opinion. If we're just doing it on this and the other single, then I'm not really impressed. And do you know what puts me off this band? I think it's because they get so much worship. I just can't go. I just feel a bit intimidated going through the discography. I feel like I've missed the boat. You know, I didn't get into them in 2002, Century's Child, when they started to make inroads into England, and it's just difficult for me now. And I'm still wanting a metal band when I hear this music, and it's seldom do I get that. The guitars are never really imaginative, although they are here. So I've just contradicted myself, you know, where you've got that wonderful guitar and keyboard string arrangement. But I really don't feel like I can add much to this. It's another Nightwish song with a big budget and some interesting ideas, but I'm not going to listen to it again.
But to give you an idea on the video, this is what Thomas said about what the video is about and what the content is. So the song is about fear and controlling people with fear. And that's what leaders, religious leaders, political leaders have done for millennia and today, especially in the media. It's something that rubs me up the wrong way every single day, because even though the world is still filled with problems that we need to address, there are some terrible things going on. We're being fed this nonsense constantly about you have to be afraid of the end of the world, and we're living in the worst of times ever. The world is coming to an end. Y2K, the end of the Mayan calendars. How many times have you predicted the end of the world and it's never happened? So the song has a very optimistic and positive message under it. I didn't get that from. I didn't get a positive, optimistic message from the song. The way it was vibed. It felt apocalyptic. It felt like the end of the world. Is how that video portrayed me. They're all falling off the planet. I didn't quite get that. So it's meant to be an optimistic. Even though there's so much going on, we need to address it in this world. Don't forget that you're extremely lucky to be alive. You have a few decades in the sun to live your life, so make the best of it and try not to fear all. That video does not work in what you've just said the song's about. It does not portray that at all in that video.
That doesn't say enjoy every moment of your life. You've only got a few decades left. It's like, it's all over now, isn't it?
It's all over and you're drifting off the planet, off the face of the earth. I'm like, that's like the first half. What they've done is that whole video is the first half of the video, and then they need to put the positive message about living your life at the end. They kind of skipped all that. That's why I do like analyzing videos when bands write their synopsis and you're like, nah, you've missed the boat there. You've missed it. You're not even on the dartboard with this one, mate.
Not even on the dartboard.
You're right.
You're saying that.
You've just thrown a dart into the fucking board.
You're not even on the fucking dartboard.
You're not even on the dartboard, mate. So there we go. That is the day of from Nightwish. If you enjoyed our video today, please do like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you on the video sometime very soon. Take care.